What's good, y'all? Back at y'all, man. Welcome to the TDF Mob channel, where we beat the game, finesse accordingly. Yes, sir. Man, I just got off work like a couple of hours ago, man. I got home, did my usual routine. I spent like an hour or so brushing up on my Spanish. But real talk, let me tell y'all something that happened earlier though. It cracked me up. So we went to like 3 different job sites today. For those of you that don't know, I'm an apprentice electrician. I don't know why I be having trouble saying that shit. But yeah, I'm an apprentice electrician. I work on a team with 3 other guys. All of them are Mexican, of course. And I'm the only so-called black guy. So anyway, we went to 3 different job sites. And it turns out at the first job site, I left my like mini tool bag. And it had my expensive drill in it, a $200 drill, right? I was completely unaware of this. So we're at the last job site, and then my lead man, his name is Martin. Martin looks at me, he's like, let's just pretend he called me deaf. Obviously he ain't call me deaf out there, but let's just pretend. So he's just like, Dev, your tool bag, Milwaukee tool bag, you left it at the first site. And while he's telling me this, I'm looking at him like, man, what the fuck? Like, first of all, how long have you known this? Secondly, why are you telling me this now? And then third, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, man, I know I grabbed that shit. So I go back to the truck to check. And lo and behold, my shit is missing. My shit is gone. I'm like, damn. I might have actually left it at that first job site. So at this point, he goes back to his truck. So I go to his truck and I'm like, all right, look, are we going back to that same job site tomorrow? He's all like, no, I don't know. And I'm like, all right, well, do you have the name of the builder? Or the number of the builder? You know, just call me, just let them know that I'm gonna stop by on my way home and just pick up my tools. And he's like, no. So I'm just standing there quiet for like a minute or so trying to think like, that's an expensive ass drill that I got in there, and I know somebody's gonna snatch that shit up. So I'm just thinking, and then this awkward ass nigga, he just looks at me and he's like, it's in the back of the truck. And I'm like, what's in the back of the truck? He's like, your tool. I take it. I'm like, oh. I go to the back of the truck or back of his truck. I see my shit. I grab it. I go back. I'm like, all right, appreciate it. I dap him up and I walk off, right? And then while I'm walking off to my truck, I'm just thinking to myself, like, nigga, what was the point in that? Why did this nigga just tell me, hey, you forgot your tools at the first job site, I picked it up, here you go. Or it's in the back, go get it. Like, why go through all this other shit? You know what I'm saying? Why joke with me like we're actually friends? And it cracks me up. Like, these motherfuckers are so desperate to be pals with me and shit, to be amigos with me and shit. And the thing is, I would oblige, but they done said too much slick shit in front of me for me to really genuinely foster a friendship with them. You get what I'm saying? It's like, what is this incessant need to be buddies, to be pals, to joke around with the black guy? I don't. It never ceases to amaze me, man. It never ceases to amaze me. Is that we don't have a joking dynamic on the team like that. Yet still, he decided to go through this whole fucking ritual. Oh, you forgot your tools. Yeah, what are you gonna do? Oh no. Oh, and I'm sitting there thinking up solutions and shit. And then, I have it. I took it. I should have just snatched my shit and walked off. Not even thanked them or nothing. Brothers, we gotta have more dignity. We gotta have self-respect, man. Everybody and their mama's gonna want to be cool with us. You know, everybody wants to have that a cool so-called black friend, right? But nobody really wants a black friend, if you get what I'm saying. Like, they don't want like a man, right? A man with a ruling class mentality and shit that's not there to play a game. They can't be friends with that. They want you to be Scooby-Doo up there and shit. Like, even on the way home, we driving home and shit, right? Nelson, he's the one that drives with me, right? And basically he looks like Baby Shrek, if I'm gonna be honest with you. He's a really short Mexican dude, about like 5'3", 5'4". He's got like a baby face, and then he shaves his face completely bald, and he shaves his head too. I don't know why he does that goofy shit, but he be doing that shit. He just be doing it, and he really be looking like Baby Shrek to me. Now this talkative motherfucker, when we on the job site, when I ask him a question like, hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? The nigga be acting exasperated with me, like, like, come on, he don't want to help me out. But when it's all said and done and niggas figure this shit out anyway, and we wrapping up and it's time to go home, we're on our way home, that's when this nigga get all talkative and shit. But you know me, I be on that TDF shit. So what he's saying, if it has nothing to do with the job, I completely ignore the fuck out of him. I put headphones in and I listen to shit like this, bro. And I just be cruising all the way home. I be seeing that nigga's mouth moving and shit. I don't care. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm not here to be your buddy. I don't give a fuck about what's going on in your personal life. I don't care about your kids. I don't care about your wife. I don't care about your parents. It's like, we are not pals. These Mexican niggas done already established the dynamic with me. It's them three. They're the team. And I'm just, just the extra guy tagging along and shit. And I peeped it, and now I'm finessing accordingly. I don't go to lunch with these niggas. I don't really talk to them when I'm really, when we're on the job site. I mean, unless I have a question about something. On the way home, I don't say shit to that little nigga Nelson. I don't say a damn thing. And I could tell that nigga be uncomfortable, but it's like, it is what it is. I already have the perspective or a perspective on what it's like to be the cool black guy, right? You friendly with everybody, you crack jokes here and there. It's just, there's nothing to gain from it. You don't get no respect out of it. You know what I'm saying? You just wasting your time. You're not gonna get no peace of mind out of it. Now I'm all about my peace of mind. That's the whole point of this TDF shit. You peep the game, you finesse accordingly, so that you can have your peace of mind. Just cruise, Just cruise. And so I don't even really listen to music like that. I just listen to instrumentals and beats and shit. Yo. But yeah, man, that's the end of my little soliloquy. Let's get to what this video is really about. Alright, today I'm gonna do something a little different. Now, don't be shocked, but today we're gonna be peeping game from a white lady. I know. That's weird as fuck. That's unorthodox. I know. But the shit that this white lady said is very, very revealing. It's very, very pertinent to not just our lives as so-called black men in America, but just what's going on with the whole George Floyd situation as well too, with the whole protests and everything. Just the race issue in America. This lady addresses it. So without further ado, let's get to it. On some TDF shit.
It's to die for.
You say that all whites are racist. Can you expound on that?
Any white person who was born, raised, and schooled in the United States of America, if you aren't a racist, you're a miracle.
Brothers, y'all hear that? Y'all hear what this old ass white broad just said? She said, if you are so-called white in America and you are not racist, you are a miracle. Essentially, she acknowledged what? She acknowledged that this education, this quote-unquote education system that they have out here is designed to do what? Indoctrinate you. It's designed to indirectly teach you that you ain't shit as a so-called black man. You definitely ain't shit as an African man. And if you happen to be so-called white, then you are the shit. She's acknowledging it. You know, there's a saying that goes something like, well, it's best to get the information straight from the horse's mouth. Something like that. One of you brothers can correct me. But it's something like that. Get the info straight from the horse's mouth. So yeah, we about to get this info straight from this horse's mouth right here. I'm gonna let her continue.
Either that or you decided to educate yourself. Because education in this country is about white is right, brown's all right, black's got to stand back.
See, if I say it, then it's quote unquote racist, or I'm spreading hate, or some other bullshit, right? Now, if she says it, what is it exactly? Is she senile? Is she delusional? Did she just make all this up? I know some of y'all like myself, man. We been peeped the shit. Like when I think back to school, having to sit there and be at the mercy of white women, quote unquote, teaching me. It's like when I look back at it, it's like I do not know what they taught me, especially in my formative years of school. Second, third, fourth, and fifth grade. All I remember is just them bitching and moaning at me for every little thing that I did. And they used to let them white girls get away with shit that was so much worse. Even the white boy, he'd have so much leeway. But if I so much as looked like I was thinking about doing some bad shit, nigga, they took that, they wrote me up so fast. So fast. No questions asked. I was not given any chance to really explain myself, what I was doing, none of that shit. It was just write them up, send them to the office. And then after the discipline has been taken and you've been thoroughly embarrassed, humiliated, that's when they run back and try to like be your best pal and shit, be your friend and shit. Right? After they get you, they want to be pals now. That's the reprogramming. Right? Back to what I was just saying before we even started watching this video about the Mexicans I'm working with. It's the same shit. They want to joke with a nigga so bad, right? But once you bite on it and you start joking back with them, they don't have the right perception of you in their mind, the right perspective on so-called blacks. So they're just gonna want to joke with you 24/7. They're never really gonna take you seriously, and or I'm at a disadvantage because I don't know Spanish, at least not fluently. So at any moment, at any point, these niggas can be standing right in front of me, talking shit about me, and I wouldn't know it. I'm sorry, that's not no. I'm on this TDF shit. I'm sorry. Well, what part of peeping the game is that? For me to agree to that kind of dynamic. where niggas can just talk shit in my face and I wouldn't know it, and they just be smiling and just ha 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 amigo amigo. Nah, man, you got me fucked up, man. Got me fucked up. Let me let this lady continue.
Yellow's mellow, but whites, we educate in a way that says that white males have done all the adventures, have made all the adventures, have done all the discovering, have made all, and everything that is good and has been accomplished according to social studies, which is actually anti-social studies, by white males. It's a lie.
Even Jesus, they made Jesus white. They got everybody worshiping a Caucasian image of Christ. And then when you when you bring that up, white people inevitably hit you with the, well, it doesn't really matter what he was. It's just as long as you believe. No, it does matter. If it didn't matter, you wouldn't go out of your way to promote a Caucasian image of him. After the Bible clearly states that he was a so-called black man. See, it's a never end when you're dealing with with the so-called white man or the so-called white woman. You got to understand that you're entering a world of just never-ending games, right? And it starts before you're even born, but it definitely starts, or it's definitely apparent in your formative years of school. You know, when you're getting quote-unquote educated. Just what they teach you about so-called white people that built this country, and then what they teach you about so-called blacks and Africans. You know, it can't be no coincidence that every African country is allegedly, or just Africa as a continent, is allegedly just this big village of just starving people. And then every so-called black person in America happens to be the descendant of one of these people that was dragged out here on a slave ship. It's like everybody that has so-called black skin just has a shitty origin. Like, that's not a coincidence. That's not a coinky dink. And then you take into the fact that it's so-called white people that are teaching this shit in a racist ass country, their country. You see what I'm saying? That's why you gotta really think twice when you wanna give someone like a Martin Luther King all this credit. You know, because it's like the man fought blood, sweat, and tears to get us integrated into a society or into a system that never wanted us to begin with. So essentially the white folks were just like, all right, fine, we'll let them tag along. But now they can watch us much closely and they can fuck us over much better. Going back to that video with the previous video before this one that I uploaded, or that I will upload, with that movie Trick Baby from 1974. Remember how those Caucasian men were talking about so-called blacks, especially the ones that they allow to elevate in this society? Think about it. It don't matter how intelligent they are, what do they end up being? Pawns. They're just pawns for the white man. Let me let her continue.
But we do that in order to maintain the myth of white superiority. The myth of race has to be maintained at all costs in this country. Because if white people have to give up the color of their skin as being something that makes them perfect, what do they have left? If we start teaching the truth about history, if we start teaching about Nile Valley contributions to civilization, it will totally change the way we conduct ourselves in the classroom. It will have to. Columbus didn't discover America. You can't discover a place where people are already living. But we celebrate that every October. It's a lie. We need to get over. We need to stop telling the myths and start telling the truth.
Sheesh. Damn, Jane. She's a whistleblower. But yeah, same shit I've been saying. The education system is fucked up. So it's like when I get on here and I mention certain demographics, it's not really coming from a place of emotionality. It's not coming from a place of hate. It's just a nigga understands the game. I peep the game and I finesse accordingly. The game is what? In this society, it's always been the education system, because they get all these kids while they're young. So they teach you to view certain demographics a certain way. It's not a coincidence that as a so-called black man, you find yourself in any situation where you're surrounded with non-blacks, you basically get treated the same. You know what I'm saying? And it's especially hard for us introverts, those of us that are perfectly fine with, being by ourselves, chilling out, just doing our own thing, cruising, listening to some good ass music, or reading a book or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't really need, you know, that human interaction 24/7. It's especially hard for us because these different demographics will force this fake ass energy on us and then step back and try to act like they're doing us a favor. Right? You be an introverted so-called black man with a ruling class mentality, and then some white girl will force her goofy ass energy on you, talk your head off, tell you everything that's happening on Instagram, everything that's happening on Twitter, what's going on TikTok, Snapchat, all these different social media platforms that you don't give a fuck about. And then the bitch has the nerve to step back and act like she's accommodating you, act like she's helping you, she's doing you a favor. How can you be doing me a favor and I didn't even want to talk to begin with? But it's goofy shit like this because the image of the so-called black man is so disingenuous. It's so piss poor. They got every so-called black man looking like this entertainer or this athlete with a peanut brain that wants to be loved, that wants to be liked, or wants to, do stand-up comedy, wants to dance, wants to sing, wants to act. That's how they got it set up. The average person doesn't really have an option in their mind for intellectual so-called black men, for introverted so-called black men that really see through the bullshit. They just want to do their own thing. There's no real option for that. So they force you, or they try to force you to be the quote-unquote cool black guy. Basically, the black guy that they were talking about in that movie Trick Baby, in that little scene I commentated on. Let me let her continue.
So when you tell people that they're racist, and it must have some kind of effect because most people will say, I'm not racist.
I'm not a racist. Why, some of my best friends are black. Right. Yeah, and then you say, name one. Or this one, I don't see color. And when some woman says to me, I don't see color.
Yeah. See, for any non-black demographic to be able to feel comfortable enough to say some stupid shit like that, I don't see color. Brothers, that should let us know how they view our intelligence. We're viewed as non-intelligent. A white man telling me that he doesn't see color would be like me, a Ghanaian, telling a Nigerian that asked me, what tribe am I from? And I respond to him with, oh, I don't see tribe. I don't do any of that stuff. Like, just say, nigga, what the fuck are you saying? If you don't see color, what do you see exactly? But again, there's an innate desire that's programmed in a lot of so-called black people, in which niggas want to be loved so much that people on the outside understand that they can get in good with us just by saying some stupid shit like that. I don't see color. Some brothers, you tell them I don't see color, their eyes light up, they get so happy, their voice starts to tremble. They give you a big old hug, and they run and tell everybody how much of a cool white person you are, Mexican person you are, whatever demographic you are, man. I don't see color. Exactly what do you see then? Please tell me. The fact that you're saying that, especially if you say it to me, I'm automatically assume that you're saying that to me because I'm so-called black. So mission failed. Go back to the drawing board.
I say, I knew that if you saw color, you wouldn't dye your hair that way. Or I say, if you saw color, you wouldn't wear that shirt with those pants. I believe that you don't see color. It's an attempt to deny skin color. And it's an attempt to deny what's wrong with seeing the color of my skin. Is it all right for you to see me kind of pink? That's okay for me. I don't mind, and I suspect that you don't mind being seen the color you are. You have a right to be what you are. And until people in this country and people in this world get it into their heads that the first modern human beings that evolved on this earth were black women. They evolved in sub-Saharan Africa about 280,000 years ago. And every human being on the face of the earth today has the memory of those black women's genetic structure in their
Okay, I don't know what the fuck she talking about now.
genes. Now, we don't want to admit that, but that's the way it is. And people, as people moved farther and farther from the equator, their bodies produced less and less melanin, so their hair, their skin, and their eyes got lighter. As they moved into the east, they ate a lot of fish and a lot of vegetables, so their skin took on a different tone. I found that out when I was raising little kids. My husband worked in a supermarket. He was the head of the produce department, and they had lots of oranges that they couldn't sell. He'd bring them home, and I was feeding my kids orange juice like you never saw in your life. They began to have an orange cast to their skin. I thought they had a liver problem. So I took him to the doctor, and she said, "What are you feeding these kids?" I said, "Well, lots of orange juice." She said, "Stop it if you want them to stop being orange." Now, if you think that skin color isn't anything other than the body's natural reaction to the natural environment, get over it.
So, if all white people are racist, according to you, can they be reprogrammed?
Well, of course they can. Of course they can. Of
How?
course they can be. It's called education.
I agree with that part. I don't know all that other bullshit she was talking about. But yeah, anybody can be reprogrammed, but they have to, the way I see it, they have to want to be reprogrammed. You gotta, like she said, you gotta educate yourself. You know? The way I look at it, if you're a so-called white person, just saying that you like so-called black people or that you feel for our issues, our plight, it really isn't enough. It's really nothing. You know, it's like me going out to the safari and I'm telling the antelope that I feel for them because they get hunted by tigers. And I'm telling them that shit. My voice is trembling. I got tears in my eyes, and I'm just letting them know, like, this is bullshit. You guys shouldn't be getting hunted like this. It's like, what is that really doing for them? Unless I come out and I murder these tigers, remove those predators from the equation, there's nothing I can really do to help these antelope. So me showing up with tears in my eyes every time an antelope gets ate up, all it's gonna do is piss these antelope off. They're gonna be like, man, how come every time one of us get ate up, this black motherfucker just show up? I think this nigga working with the tigers. But for real, that's how it be out here, man. Black people have been maneuvered into a position, or so-called black people have been maneuvered into a position in which anybody can chime in on their issues, on their plight, on the conundrum that they're in this country. Anybody. And all anybody's doing is just saying how much they hate it. You know, so-called black man gets killed, and now you got white women leading protests. White women leading the protest now. Nigga, do you know how many so-called black men are sitting in prison right now because of a white woman? And now these bitches are leading protests now. Man. Brothers, whatever you do, make sure you peep the game, finesse accordingly. On some TDF shit.
It's to die for.
I'm out.